I've been racking my brains, and quite frankly, Eamon, I can't think of who that might be. Um, I don't think it's anybody that exists in the current boxing circle, certainly over here in the UK. Maybe it's an ex-fighter at the top level, maybe even someone like a Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury retired now, apparently. Possibly, does he become a promoter? Does he enter the boxing game on a promotion level? We know he wants to remain busy and stay clear of all the things that have made his life difficult in the past, and possibly he enters the boxing game. He's had a long storied career with Frank Warren and Bob Arum. I'm sure he's learned a thing or two that he can lean on if he was to enter the promotional game. But there aren't many other names that I can think of that would line up at the top of the sport and get plunged straight into such a huge show and a huge occasion, really. It'd have to be somebody that's got a lot of gravitas and a lot of just a lot of recognition, I guess, behind them, whether it be from a different promotional circle, from a celebrity world, or as an ex-fighter. So difficult to really think of any names that match all three of those categories. But I know you've got a couple, haven't you, Eamon?
No, but Josh, that's actually a really good suggestion. I never even thought about that. But when I sat down to speak with Frank Warren at the start of the year as to what Queensbury's goals were and aspirations in 2025 off of the back of a successful 2024, and talking about the future of Tyson Fury, who then since recently retired again, Frank had said that he would support Tyson in his retirement, but also wanted to see Tyson that if he chose to fully retire, as it seems to be the case right now, I guess, that he'd want him to work for him in a promotional type of capacity. So I think that's a real good shout, actually, that Tyson could, I guess, balance having the last couple of fights in his career alongside promoting fights. He's a brilliant talker. Can't be said that one of his great parts of his game is the inability to promote fights, because he does sell fights really, really well. And he's worked with, or at least given opportunities to, a number of fighters that he's wanted to see. Of course, Isaac Lowe has benefited from that, but fighters have been able to get opportunities off the back of his name. So I think that's a real good suggestion, and potentially that might be the case, Josh. So fair play to you on that one. The one that I thought it might be was a couple of years back, in amongst the long rumored and spoken about Dana White venture into boxing through Zuffa Boxing and whatever it was, or that type of conversation was going on. There was also the conversation that WWE and TKO might venture into boxing themselves. And there were some reports from some of the wrestling journalists as to Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan's feelings about boxing. I've just pulled up an article here from Bad Left Hook, and is talking about Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan, talking about the potential opportunities in boxing. McMahon says here, she's pointing out there are multiple boxing championships that can be rolled up into one, like how in her description of it, McMahon consolidated wrestling in the 1980s. Nick Khan said sports stars before the mid-80s were individual sports stars like boxers and tennis players, pointed to an opportunity in boxing, added that boxing as well, horse racing, most popular sports in the 50s, rise of betting, there's opportunities like there are in boxing. WWE have tried to expand outside of wrestling, and Stephanie was interested in taking a boxing venture. So I think with that, I potentially think that Stephanie, with her being a little bit out of the picture with the WWE day-to-day business type of management, like she was before, I think that's an opportunity for her to bring her promotional expertise alongside maybe Nick Khan as well to promote these fights going forward. So I think that's who the likely next promoter to enter in the game, of maybe a mix of Stephanie and Nick, or just Stephanie. And I don't know how that will play out. It'll be interesting, of course, to keep tabs on it. I think WWE and TKO in general, like one of the big things that has stepped up, I mean, WWE production anyway was a step up from what boxing was putting out, even at the highest level, I feel. But then since this new merger into TKO, that it's taken another step forward. and that's something that's very much well needed. And even the presence of those recent promo videos across all the Riyadh season fights have been brilliant watch. So just taking and mixing in those things which Stephanie knows about for many years, how to build and create stars. Stephanie is known about alongside with Triple H and Vince McMahon. So I think part of that is needed in boxing, and she'd be a pivotal and a key figure in building future stars and building back into the mainstream for boxing, if that's to happen in the future. Going back to you guys in the chat, Porter says here, yeah, Jack, then a lot of them lower weight guys can become multi-weight world champions quite easily. You're talking about 3, 4, 5 pounds from division to division. Excuse me. Soda also says, actually, I'm not going to read that one out. Unlucky Soda. I've just flicked off of that one. So let me go back onto this one. Great for the fans, terrible for fighters. They'll get what they're told money-wise. Yeah, that is one of the criticisms about Dana White's model, is that, and the proof has been in the pudding, in that a lot of the UFC and MMA fighters have for many years tried to dip out of their contracts and go into boxing because they can earn a lot more money out of the product that they are, the brand that they are. And that's why you've seen Alexa Francis Ngannou come out, Conor McGregor fight Floyd Mayweather, Masvidal, Diaz is wanting to have boxing fights because they're going to make a lot more money. Stephen, at Seconds Out, we forget that Eggy has an interview on here where he intended to copy the Dana White model and monopolize boxing. We will put it out in the coming days. Thanks. I'm not sure where that interview is, Stephen, but as the officially unofficial, not official member of Seconds Out, I'm sure you can let me know where that interview is. Alvo, the most American thing ever. What is? You have to explain that one. So could Inoue move to 135 and then there's a discussion about Nick Ball, I'm sure, and Inoue. How Not to Play says, I don't think it will affect British boxing. I think it's about getting American boxers on the Saudi cards, as we haven't really had any huge fights from there. Just Boz says, Dana always promises a lot, but sometimes fails to deliver. Tank don't want no smoke. He only fights bums and blames his hair for losing his last fight. Guy's gone soft in the middle. Sheets be Al. Joe Brett says, go on, Amundsen. Why is Joe watching? Is Joe doing some push-ups whilst he's watching? Josh, are you surprised to see Joe Brett on here?
Great to see Joe Brett in here. Boxer's finest.
Yeah, boxer's finest indeed. He's been called that for a spar, so we'll see if he gets the smoke when Boxer, Ben Shalom, Ben Whitaker, and Liam Cameron roll into Birmingham in a matter of weeks. So we'll see if Joe's still around. Mr. T says, I think it relies on them getting a few big names early doors. If not, others may be apprehensive about going over. Yeah, those big names, like Canelo, like Bivol, apparently has an offer, or at least a conversation on the table as to joining this league, it seems. You'd want to have a big attraction to help bring eyes to a new venture if it's going to be surrounding the prospects, because the prospects naturally don't have the names that the bigger names command because they've been in the game a lot longer. So you would think it would coincide with something like that. Steven says Eggy Hearn and Al Heyman have tried to monopolize boxing. We at Seconds Out believe Dana White has the best chance to do so, in our opinion. They'll got whoever they want with Turkey bankrolling it, but that's not part of the model. Is to be a good business. So the bottom line is the be-all and end-all, you feel, for Dana White. So how is that going to work? Some more finer details need to be released, and I'm sure we'll get them as... I mean, Dana doesn't even seem to know the finer details right now. I did see an interview, I think it was one of the American outlets that put it out, maybe even been Fight Hub or Fight Hype, but Dana doesn't seem to know the finer details of it, just the broader kind of framework of it, and then the pieces of the puzzle will be put together as they move along in the next year to 18 months or so. Inoue doesn't want the smoke. He doesn't fight any big names. Name one big name on Inoue's resume. Porter's discussing and debating with the other people in the chat. Great to see. Turkey willing to bank run it, but Dana won't actually want to pay the fighters any money or that money. Yeah, I mean, money has been an issue for UFC fighters, as I mentioned before. No problem. Just Boz is also interacting in the debate. I'm going to move past this debate because there's a lot of conversation. It's great to see the conversation, but I'm just going to move past it a little bit. I think the league will spend spend or spell the end maybe for the 4 belts. Says Jack Dutton on the 45 because all the very best fighters will move to the league because Turki can tempt them with his money. Fair enough.